And now we get to the part of the episode that everyone is going to be ready for us to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The story that Sunny says, and
Mm-hmm.
then the reverse of
Mm-hmm.
Misty. So
Yep.
Sunny starts talking about the start of Equestria. It starts out with the way that they talked about it in the movie, where a young unicorn was called by the princess to learn about friendship. She soon earned a lot of good friends of all different pony kinds. There was some sort of magical accident. An earth pony gets hurt by a unicorn, and I wonder if that actually means that the unicorn tried to injure the
Mm-hmm.
earth pony or if it was just an accident, but something sparked that. And I
Mm-hmm.
gotta wonder how serious that magical accident actually was. Because everyone started fighting with that, Twilight decided to take all the magic and imbue it in these three crystals, which lends more credence to the fact that more than likely, I don't know if you've heard of an individual by the name of Sawtooth Waves. He does My Little Pony Theory videos, and one of the
Mm-hmm.
videos he did was that Twilight imbued the crystals with magic as like a last ditch effort sort of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I gotta wonder if that's what's going on here. And so when those crystals were imbued, the three tribes decided, you know what, let's split off, let's form our own little communities. They felt safer with their own kind, so
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
they now came into what is now known as Maritime Bay,
Mm-hmm.
Bridalwood, and Zephyr Heights. That led up to the events of the movie. We got the crystals back together. And then you have that inversion, that little, I guess you could call it a Ryan Johnson bait and switch, as as Misty is like, you were right about this first part with with Twilight learning about friendship, but the actual ruler of this land was an Alicorn queen, and she decided that she wanted to take the magic for herself. The princess took that magic away from her, imbued it in the crystals, sent everyone away, and then cast this magical bubble around Equestria so that the Alicorn Queen lost her magic number one, so left her in a weakened state, and she couldn't find Equestria again because it was invisible to her. And I'm like, that's very interesting.
It is. It's actually really cool too because it's not what you typically expect from these sorts of moments in shows, like especially kids shows, where it's like, okay, we're gonna have the lore building moment where we have a story that's told in this sort of sort of deliberately alternate animation style that like looks like you're reading out of a storybook, and then you have this really cool moment where it's like, wait, that's not the story I heard, and then same thing, same storybook moment, but it's conflicting, and now you're like, wait, now I legitimately don't know who to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because the funny thing is, the character who maybe has the most credence to their story is actually Opaline, because alicorns are long lived, so she probably did live through these things, or maybe if she didn't, she would have had a better memory for these things. But also, she's clearly evil.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, you have Sunny's story, which is less reliable. It's folklore. It gets passed down through generations. Things can get twisted. But on the other hand, you have Opaline's story, which has more of a right to be accurate, but is also being told by someone who clearly has an ulterior motive.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really left with two stories that are like both equally unreliable, and you're just like, man, I have no idea because they're so different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to average what the actual truth would be, and it's honestly really really cool.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think what I like most about this is not the story itself, but the fact that number one, we're bringing lore back, which is
Hmm.
great. But
Yep.
number two, it's coming from two unreliable narrators.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
with that being
Exactly.
the case, it really makes you wonder what lore is true, what lore is being made up, and also what is the actual lore in
Hmm.
between all of that. And I
Yep.
think that's a really fun mystery so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. This is This is kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the episode, the beginning of the review, that this was the first episode that really made me actually interested in watching more. And it's because of this, not just the fact that we're getting more lore, but we're getting, like you said, these two conflicting stories from two unreliable narrators, and it just leaves you, frankly, with more questions than it does answers, which is great. You know, it makes you want to watch more.
And then Zip is just like, where did you learn all that stuff? And Misty's just like, well, I kind of made some of it up. It's just kind of...
Yeah, it tries to save face a little bit.
Then Izzy is just like...
Each story was great, especially that Alicorn Queen part, Misty. So creative, so epic. Got any more?
Whoa, hold on a second. That's a little bit too close.